remember when we looked at that Nevada, that was a mechanism to let the occupants of the building see what kind of utilization and how they could impact that. And I think this will be a great tool for feedback to us.
So have we looked into any further going into the second round for adding more solar panels to our parking lots?
Yes. I'm waiting right now for a proposal from the Carabino. As you know, we had this direct install you approved tonight. We'll get that initiated. There's another phase that we looked at, but I don't think it's viable for us. There's not enough there for what they call the ESIP, the Energy Service, or ESCO, Energy Service Company. And then we talked about what else can we do on our own. And I think our architect and Joe Santidi is the guy that's working on the solar panels for Morris County. He's actually drawing up the engineering plans to see what additional solar we could place on both sides as well. And then the final piece will be what are the things that we can do internally with our own people, such as light sensors maybe in rooms or the vending machine economizers, things of that nature.
Good.
I just wanted to comment about that envelope we got in our packets, the proposed bills of this legislative district 24 reps sent to us. They said everybody got them. It was nice to know that there's a district out there that knows we exist and cares what we do, because our region belongs to 3 different legislative districts, which is kind of ridiculous. And then the boroughs, the one little community in District 16 that's not in Somerset County. So, what are they? I don't know how much they care about us, but I don't think it would be a bad idea to be able to stay in contact with these legislators, because in many communities it's much easier for them to stay in contact with their legislators and vice versa. Legislators to find their school board people. It's harder here. I think you can keep track of them, and if you have opinions, I think you should be able to get them circulated to all of our legislators, because we have so many being part of pre-districts. And I don't know if our communications committee can keep track of that.
Communications has potential negotiations, I think.
On this letter we received, or Kristen received, I guess we all got. I think they're asking for a resolution for support from the board. And I spent 15 or 20 minutes going through it, and there doesn't appear to be anything obnoxious about it. In fact, I think it would probably help the taxpayers of our communities if we adopted this resolution in support of these bills. Any other feedback along those lines? Because I would be in favor of creating a resolution for the support of these bills. I don't know how much good it would do, but
I read a little bit last night too, and I kind of came to the same idea that I think it would be beneficial for us to go along with that.
I read that also, and I believe I agree with you. I'd like to know, Anthony, if you have insight into where this might go on the wall.
I think that very often when they ask for those sorts of resolutions, it becomes something that the legislators can use to say X number of districts have supported this, and I think if you believe that it's a good idea, as I do also, we can put it on the next agenda.
Any other new business? I'll open to the public, if you're all kind enough to wait and come back. Anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah.
I'm sure I will just want to, did you say that in some way? Well, I know that the solar panels, you should investigate if they can put a link on your front page. I think that's a pretty basic attribute of all those solar monitoring. We have one on one of our properties, and you could just click on it and see how your how it's doing, your carbon footprint, all that sort of thing. So it might be a great PR tool to keep in mind. But my question, I have two questions. The discussion about adding the dependents back into the insurance policy was, a general discussion. I'm just curious, why wasn't that on the agenda? Why did that not make it on the agenda so you could vote before the deadline of November? So I'm just curious, you kind of polled the board members, and what's the criteria for making it on the agenda?
We viewed it as it's kind of a quasi-administrative decision, and at the same time, because it has the potential to cost the district more money, I felt that it would be important that at least the board be aware of what that impact could be. Because I can't present them with a solid number at this point because it's an unknown. It's a potential. I think that the idea is like getting away from here, though. I'll go back to the broker and get a forecast of what the potential cost could be to the board. That's why.
This is for pharmacy only. You understand where the split is?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do the health care now, required by law, but because of the timing of our contract with the pharmacy, we don't have to do anything until August?
Correct.
Until August. So it's a timing issue,
Okay.
as much as anything else.
Okay, that's fine. I was really just curious how that procedure goes. And then I usually mention this every year, but I think it's always, would it not be a good idea if you spend money to send your administrators to conferences? I think it would be a great idea if you encourage those administrators to come back to the board and give an update of, new thinking in the field, highlights, things like that. Now, I would assume that those administrators would divulge new thinking, new concepts to their staff, but I always think it's a good idea to make sure you're getting value out of sending people to conferences, conventions, national whatevers. So I know it's not a requirement, but I would vote for it. It's a great idea, and it would actually give the administrators, I think, if I was an administrator, I would want to come, show you that you're getting value, show you that I'm improving in my field, I'm disseminating great information to my staff. So I would vote for that. So that's
Marcia,
my
I can tell you,
annual
one of the things that they do is they're required to fill out feedback on an electronic form, which we've been providing the board for whenever they've asked for them, something called My Learning Pin, so they're obligated to do that. Secondly, if you've noticed, in a lot of the board motions, administrators have not gone to very many national conferences. In fact, there's a moratorium on them. In fact, there's been for 2 years. So that we've sent administrators only when a majority of it is paid by an outside organization. But they have reported back. They do it in writing. And as I said, you've seen very, very few people go.
Any other questions or comments?
In discussing the open enrollment period for the month of October, is this understanding correct that a staff member who decided to add for their regular health care coverage a dependent between the ages of 23 and 26 would then additionally need to pursue the adding of the prescription plan that is not an automatic dual enrollment? If the board decides to extend the prescription coverage, would the staff member then need to follow up on the initial adding of the dependent between the ages of 23 and 26?
Yes.
Will there be notification to the staff about that when the resolution is determined?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, close to the public. And we have a